Hey, I'm Matt Church, and thanks for listening. The direct nature of turning up in a thought leader's practice means that the buck really stops with you. I've really got to figure out where that comes from. If a client doesn't love like a workshop you delivered, you can't really blame anyone else. And when you post a thought on social media and someone calls you out for missing a key idea, well, that's on you, right? It certainly feels that way. The value exchange is direct, the feedback is immediate, so you end up with this nowhere to hide and no one to blame kind of orientation. And this nowhere and no one but you here now reality means that you as a thought leader is only as good as today's experience. So it's really direct, it's really immediate, and it's on you. And then add to this the focus on building reputational capital as core to driving new business, and the stakes go up again. Not only are you required to perform at your best today, but tomorrow's work actually depends on it. And you really need to be great to keep this game going, and you're only as good as your last appearance, and that's a lot, isn't it? So here's the thing. The pressure is real enough psychologically, but that doesn't mean it should stress you. I know, easy to say. But it's all made up and not a real thing. It's all in the mind. It's our thoughts and our feelings that make the pressure a thing. It's the stories we tell ourselves about the pressure, which are made up of images, memories, concepts, emotions, but they're not real. They're just things that, we attach to the story. And sometimes you experience them real as a thought leader, but they're just stories. The pressure to perform is a performance pressure which has nothing to do with how you show up each day. It can be what you do, but does not define you. You are a high performer. You do a lot. You do what others don't, can't, or won't do. But that's not who you are. Your identity and subsequently your stress response shouldn't be located there. And look, unable to handle this, many high performers end up lost in substance abuse, and many high potential high performers step back complaining that the pressure gives them a stomach ache. They literally claim that they don't have the stomach to perform. And weirdly, these are the same people who then need a quiet room to meditate. And, your life is a meditation. Pressure is life. 18th century Zen Buddhist teacher Haikun Ekaku had something to say about this. He said that meditation in the midst of activity is 1 billion times superior to meditation in stillness. And this reflects the Doshu no Kofu, which is like meditation and activity, the Zen practice, which is that your practice is in the midst of work and action. He went on to say that in merely enjoying the stillness of Zazen never leads to true samadhi power. And Hakuin writes in Onayazami number 1, one of his sort of letters, where he was sort of really negative on the Imperials, that such power is built only by maintaining a clear state of mindfulness amidst the complex activities of daily life. Meditation is life, and life is pressure. So I guess the point of this blog is to sort of say, change your relationship to the pressure. Don't let the pressure change your life. In the written version of this blog, I've referenced Dr. Kelly McGonigal and the work that her team's research has done around changing perceptions or the internal orientation or story around stress. Little spoiler alert, she basically says, and her research says, that if you don't make it a bad thing, it won't be. She's got a great TED talk on that as well. The performance pressure paradigm is rarely discussed or mentioned as the reason why someone doesn't launch or succeed in the thought leader's practice game. It's a legitimate explanation for why you've sabotaged your success, stayed stuck, or limited your world in some way. It can make you step back or down from your desire to operate a high-performance $1 million practice, and that's okay. It's a choice and it's yours to make. But if you do decide to play this game, you are playing a high-performance game. So I want to offer some thought. The first one is that you don't want to hide from this pressure behind lower fees or safer audiences or someone else selling you or just being stuck in only one-to-one delivery mode. So get out from the small lights and step into the spotlight. And when you do what you're like, I'd ask you a question. So now you're in this spotlight. Is it any different? And I suspect that you're going to find it's not. It's bigger. Sure, you're doing things that few others do. 30,000 people in New Orleans Convention Center. I remember doing that, and that's huge. But you're still the same awareness you were before. Nothing's changed. Your experience is bigger and extraordinary. But you're still you. Your life is still there. It's just expanded. And as a result, the rewards expand too. My second tip, if you do choose the high-performance practice game, is if you're going to play it, you're signing up for continuous improvement as a commitment. And you're committing to tweaking 100 things by 1%. And as a result, building a practice that's 100% better in 100 tomorrows than it was yesterday. Continuous growth, learning, and improvement. You don't stay stuck in the past, rereading letters from your glory days. You commit to being better, not being the best. You foster a growth mindset, not a comparative market assessment. So who cares what you used to do or what others are doing? A practice needs to be driven by what do you want to do next. The third, and a really powerful orientation, is to come from service, not ego. When you're doing all of this to feel good about yourself, you become fragile and really focused on the wrong things. You take credit where you shouldn't, you lay blame where it doesn't belong. And when you're all doing all of this from like a deep, true sense of purpose, then even when you get it wrong, it's appreciated. Failure is simply feedback, and as a result, you can't fail. But on failure, I love what Jim Carrey used when he was doing the commencement address for Maharishi University, where he said, you can fail doing what you don't want and playing it small, so why not risk failing playing a bigger game? And I'm paraphrasing that. It's kind of like don't shrink your way to a great practice. Expand your view of what's possible. Dealing with pressure to perform, you've got kind of like three choices, I reckon. The pressure either breaks you or makes you, or you use it to break through to a new level of operating. A hero of mine, an early stage motivational speaker, Cavett Robert, is famous for saying that life is a grindstone, but whether it wears you down or polishes you up is up to you. So until next time, stay the course. The world needs leaders. The world needs you. The pressure is not really real. It's just thinking that makes it so.